Hearing is now underway in the battle between the Trump administration and Harvard University. The school filed a lawsuit after the Trump administration froze more than $2 billion of federal funding. The university previously rejected the administration's demands for changes to its admissions, its hiring, and discipline policies to be more in line with President Trump's ideals. So let's go to CBS News Department of Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott, what's coming out of today's hearing, friend?
Quick hearing, but it will not be a quick battle between Harvard and the Trump administration. The judge has added a new date to the calendar, mid-July, to extend this legal battle and have more arguments and more hearings into it. So Harvard's going to have to extend this fight against the Trump administration for about 3 more months. The issue remains the same, though. The university is challenging the administration's decision to try to strip funding from the university, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. This is money the university could earmark towards research, potentially medical research, large-scale initiatives they can't underwrite with their own endowment and their own funding. They're making arguments here that the university is making arguments that the administration is overreaching, and this legal battle will be watched closely, Reed, by other colleges, other universities that may find themselves in the administration's crosshairs.
Yeah, talk to us about this, because there are some who say this lawsuit could set a precedent for what other universities use in opposition to the administration's policies.
Yeah, especially if there are symmetrical complaints in the administration that other universities in the administration's mind haven't cracked down enough on protests or misconduct on their campuses. You can see this as a potential proxy battle, not just for other universities, but other private organizations that find themselves targeted by the administration. They'll watch the disposition of this case. They'll watch how Harvard argues this case potentially in July as some type of model of something they want to mimic or something they want to avoid mimicking based on the outcome.
All right, so from Harvard Yard to another headline, Scott, the Trump administration facing that deadline this week in the deportation case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a name that we continue to mention every week. I want to talk to you about this. Let's listen to Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt this morning addressing this very case, and then we'll talk about it.
Just to be clear, have there been any negotiations between the U.S. and El Salvador over his release or facilitating his release?
I will tell you what the president of El Salvador told all of you in the Oval Office. El Salvador does not intend to smuggle a designated foreign terrorist back into the United States. He is an El Salvadorian national. That is his home country. That is where he belongs. And the administration intends to comply with what President Bukele said of El Salvador. He does not intend to send that individual back.
So that's a no. There's been no talks.
What I have told you is that the president of El Salvador has made this quite clear.
So what's this week's deadline then? And is this an indication that the Department of Justice just isn't going to comply, Scott?
Yeah, the judge handling this case at the federal courthouse in Greenbelt, Maryland, set a Wednesday deadline for the administration to answer some of her questions about the handling of this case, including what's being done to get Abrego Garcia back from that Salvadoran detention center, and also why he's there and what grounds are being cited to put him there in the first place. The judge is not going to accept an answer that is similar to what the White House press secretary said today. She would like answers from the administration about what the administration is doing, not what the Salvadoran leadership can or can't do with Abrego Garcia. That case has gone quiet over the last few days, Reed, because the judge gave everybody an extra week till this Wednesday to get their ducks in a row and get some information. Let's see what does or does not come out of that hearing Wednesday in Maryland.
All right, we know as ducks get in rows, you will be there to count each and every one. Scott MacFarlane, great to talk to you today. Have a good day.
Thank you.